this is going to be a funnier week. We're here.
Yeah, last week was our angry week, but it's fine now.
Yeah, hopefully this will be our funnier week. I don't really know. I will say at least from what I have, they're not as anger-inducing episodes. So they might not be as funny, but maybe we can make them funny. Who knows? We'll see what happens. It's Sam's Minisode today on this glorious Monday. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit.
A little?
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's just I haven't drunk anything, so I still got that kind of like...
Oh, yeah.
Just, I'm waiting for my
Get your coffee.
It's still really hot. I gotta wait for it to cool down a little bit.
Wow.
But
Just be a normal coffee drinker and drink your coffee hot. Drink it like a
drink it
man.
or no balls.
wow.
Drink it like a man.
But then I'll fucking burn my tongue, and then I won't be able to talk during this fucking multi-hour
That's what real men
recording
do,
session.
is they burn their tongue, and then they go and do some manual labor,
And then they walk it off.
and then they walk it off, scratch the
And then they
balls
go
while
to
they're doing
war
it.
and die for their country.
Yeah, what the fuck, AJ? Why can't you
What the
just...
fuck, AJ?
I was going to take that somewhere else.
I literally don't give a fuck.
So I took my hands and I reached back into the way back
Ooh, the way back.
of the asshole
Okay.
to find this. This post is from 2 years ago,
Oh,
so
shit.
pre-pandemic. But
Okay.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Pretty juicy.
Juicy's a good one. You're gonna like this. Yeah, juicy is a good word to use here.
Juicy's good. Based on the title, Juicy's good.
Juicy's a good word
Juicy
here.
assholes.
Am I the asshole for pretending to be an Appletarian?
A what now?
Eating only apple-derived foods and drinks for 3 weeks as a prank, causing my friends to have an intervention for me. I got the idea a few weeks ago to prank my friends by pretending to be an Appletarian, meaning somebody who only eats food products that are derived from apples and would only drink apple juice or apple cider. I told them all that I had read on the internet that eating only apples was the healthiest thing for you. When I first told them, they thought I was joking, but they underestimated how committed I would be to a joke. So whenever in the presence of one of my friends or friend of friends, coworkers, etc., who knew them, I was very careful to only be seen eating apples or drinking apple juice or cider. Apples whole, apples diced, apple sauce, the inside of an apple pie. The inside of an apple pie?
Just the inside.
Just the inside.
Baked apples, candy apples with the chocolate shaved off, etc. Finally, after about a week, they bought that I had become an Appletarian. They started giving me information about how unhealthy it was to only eat apples and growing increasingly exasperated by it. Some even got angry. But I wanted to stick with the joke. Finally, after the end of 3 weeks, I walked into what I was told was a movie night, but was actually an intervention for me. They were all super concerned about my well-being and had all sorts of information or whatever. Finally, I started laughing hysterically. They were confused as hell, so I told them I had been faking it the whole time and had been eating real meals outside their knowledge. I even took out some beef jerky from my pant pocket to prove it and munched on it. I thought they'd appreciate the joke, but they were actually really annoyed. My girlfriend broke up with me over this because a few days ago I ruined our date night when I told the waiter I only wanted apples because I was an Appletarian and had embarrassed her for a dumb joke. In my opinion, the joke was solid and they should have appreciated my commitment to the prank. But did I go too far?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous to break up with somebody for embarrassing you in front of a waiter. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how embarrassing was it? Like, were they making a scene in the restaurant? Like, it depends.
I mean, all they say is, hey, I'm going to need something apple-based because I'm an Appletarian. Like,
what does that even mean?
eating only the
funny.
inside of an apple pie.
Yeah, not the crust.
Like, I just want to see this man scooping out apple pie and just eating it and throwing away the crust while people, like, watch him do it. Like,
Yeah, like going to McDonald's and get those, like, apple pie things.
Oh, I definitely
tear it for the middle.
I definitely didn't catch the only eating the inside of the apple pie part the first time I read it. So and then he said he chocolate apples, he just shave off the chocolate. Like, It's just a fucking apple at that point. You don't even have to go that far.
I think that's the funny part.
Right?
I think that's what's funny about it. Like, to go out of your way and get this like cooked apple thing and then peel off the part that's not apple. Just eat the apple.
God. So he was deemed no assholes here. But if you go into the comments, people went ham on like if it's really funny or not. Someone was like, it's sitcom funny, but not real life funny. And a lot of people were like really like honing for the girlfriend, like, oh, this affected her emotionally, and to the point where she got all this reading material for him to read, and it was an inconvenience for all of his friends to do an intervention because interventions are inconvenient. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Shut up. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You inconvenienced my day.
Like if you're able to pull a prank well enough that it causes people to give you an intervention, then that shows that you really pulled that prank well. Like if it's something as silly as
that's a good point. Okay. You like committed so hard.
Yeah.
But I know we have said in the past though that it isn't funny if everyone's not laughing. So that's the part. True. That's the hard part. Is that we have said those words.
We have, but I also think committing to something stupid like this is funny.
So, but that's the big difference is when we say that, it's usually in regards to a thing that is noticeably hurting or being malicious towards somebody
it's not
else.
Hurting anyone. It's just
this
annoying
is literally
and stupid.
Somebody just eating food, and for all they ever know, they only see him eating apple-based things. But like, it's literally none of their fucking business. You know, like at the end of the day, it's just one of those things where, like, unless they really started seeing him get like emaciated and started getting really sick. And it's been 3 weeks, and so how often do you see, like, ignoring pandemic bullshit, but how often do you really see your friends in the span of 3 weeks? So like, by that logic, you know, like, fucking Sushie could think we're coffeetarians because she only ever sees us drink coffee.
I only see you drink coffee.
Like,
that's it.
So like.
That's
the fact
true.
that these people were like, it's been 3 weeks and we've only ever seen him eat apples. We got to stop it. Like, I agree. There's no assholes here. Maybe lean a little bit towards the girlfriend being an asshole for breaking up with them over a stupid joke at a restaurant. Unless he was like really harassing the person. But if he literally just asked like, hey, you know, you guys have any Apple stuff? Because I'm an Appletarian.
I wonder if he's done this bullshit before, and she was like, "I'm over it. Like, I'm done." Like,
maybe he's like the pranks guy, and he's just exhausting to be around.
Maybe that was the last fucking like straw for her.
That's valid.
There you go. That poor Appletarian. I can't imagine trying to gather information for an intervention.
Excuse me, I'm an Appletarian now.
Oh, we have to do so much work for Jerry's intervention. We had to do so much research and work on how to sit people in a room and talk to them.
Odd.
But did you get? You didn't, did you? You didn't get a.
Shit! I'm Sushie now.
You're Sushie every week. You never
I forgot a misconnection. I'm
misconnect. Oh yeah. Well.
You know what? We're just gonna not have.
We're gonna roll with it because I'm sorry.
We're live.
Damn.
Every week you fuck up.
Wow. Wow.
One of us does. Someone does.
Where were you, mom manager?
You
said
were supposed to be a mom.
You said don't forget.
Where's your mom energy?
You said last night, don't forget to get your stories, and I was like, okay, thanks. And then you were like, but I'm not going to tell you about that other part.
Stories encompasses everything.
You have to commit, AJ.
When I say stories, that's all of them. That's like the whole thing.
That's not a story.
Yes, it is.
There's no beginning and end when you have a misconnection.
Right.
that is the beginning of the end. It is the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm. I have a misconnection. Some weird guy in the internet saw a lady probably doing something mundane and was like, do you want to get married? The end. That was the misconnection.
There you go. All right. Now write us and tell us, was that you?
Was it you?
Was it you?
Oh, I got a story that'll fill the misconnections.
Okay.
And it reminded me because of what Sushie just said, right?
Okay.
So it's not really misconnections, but it's something that annoys the shit out of me.
Oh.
And it's close enough because it's basically a dude being creepy, but it doesn't need to happen.
Okay.
So this is gonna sound dumb as I say it, but I've been trying to catch up watching One Piece lately. So because So if for those who don't know, One Piece is very, very fucking long.
Yes.
Like, unreasonably long. I've been skipping all the filler, but like I'm on almost episode 800, right?
What?
Yes, it is.
Episode
No,
what?
I'm almost on episode 800. Now, keep in mind when I took my
thanks.
hiatus break of One Piece a couple of years ago, I was at like episode 700. So like I'm making pretty good progress.
How
here.
long are those episodes? Are they 30 minutes or?
So the episodes are like quote unquote 30 minutes, but there's literally 8 minutes of a recap at the beginning of every one, and there's a fucking 4-minute ending.
So it's really like 15 minutes.
You're basically watching 15 minutes. It's fucking stupid, right? But like and now One Piece gets a lot of flack for the amount of filler that it has, and not just like episodes, but like in the episodes, like they stretch them out and they add in little gags and shit that doesn't need to be there. It's all fucking stupid. But I would much rather just watch it as opposed to fucking read it, because that's a whole other thing, right? What I'm getting at is I really fucking despise Japanese fucking like horny, annoying culture. And what I mean by that is there's literally a character that like in all these fucking serious moments, no matter what, just always pops out and literally just says, okay, but can I see your panties? And I hate it. And it's embarrassing. And it's even grosser when you think about the fact that it's Toei making this. And so therefore it's aimed at like 14-year-olds and shit, like because it's Toei. And I really, really hate that, because it's like, it's disgusting and it has nothing to do with the fucking story at all. And there are times, if that character is in an episode, you might see it 3 or 4 times per episode, and it doesn't exist in the manga, like to that degree.
Yeah.
So like, and it's like this, like it just screams like, that just fucking like weird, like Japanese horny culture that doesn't need to exist in things at all like this. Like it's really weird.
Yeah.
And it reminded me.
You're not selling me this show, that's for sure.
I'm not trying to sell you the show. But like, it's.
Why are you even selling it to yourself? Why are you watching it? It sounds like you hate it.
I don't hate the show. Like I said, no, the show is great. It's literally just the fact that like it's this one fucking character that is written in that's not even really a main character, but they're just fucking there because they do these things like where like per arc they'll have like a character join for a little bit and then they fuck off there at the end of the arc, or whatever. But basically, it's just the typical bullshit of like anytime like an anime has like an overly fucking like, oh man, ladies fucking character.
Yeah.
And it's so common in anime. And it makes me wonder if like that bleeds out, like kids grow up watching that and then it bleeds out.
And they think it's like okay.
And they think it's totally normal.
To be,
and then suddenly they start writing
it's like
misconnection
normalized.
stories. Yeah. It's because it's fucking, it's all over the place. And like watching it as an adult, you're like, this is fucking stupid. Can we get back to fucking people literally killing each other? Like, can we get back to the base of the story? Can we get back to the adventure and the fun? But then, like, having these things in there, it just, like, it makes you wonder, like, how is this, like, I know that it sounds like, won't somebody please think of the children? But, like, it's kind of,
So
it does kind of corrupt kids.
on that topic, like, I know what you're getting at, because, growing up, I absolutely loved the Beetlejuice movie, right? Loved the Beetlejuice movie.
Right. And when you watch it as an adult, you're like, problematic.
I saw some like movie stills of it on while I was just fucking doom scrolling or whatever. I saw some movie stills and I was like, oh, that's kind of gross. But as a kid, you watch Beetlejuice and you're like, Beetlejuice, he's funny, But then you watch it as an adult and you're like, why is he touching that fucking corpse lady's legs like that?
He's gross.
Like he's kind of gross. Like,
and that's just it. There's a lot of things that are like that. There's a lot of kids shows that like definitely have like some fucking crazy undertones to them, especially if you watch like any of the older Looney Tunes.
Oh my
If
God,
you watch any of the older Looney Tunes.
They don't even put those on anymore.
Yeah, like I mean the amount like. Because like even like people have talked about like like you could look up like fucking like the World War II shit where they have like fucking Nazis in them. But I mean like even like growing up watching Looney Tunes on like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and stuff, they legit would have like blackface in Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
and it was just like a thing that like existed. Like and you're like as a kid you don't fucking pay it any mind. Just like I'm sure as a kid these like kids who are watching like and it's not just One Piece. It's a lot of anime has this. Like there's always the trope character that's like overly fucking horny for no fucking reason, and it has nothing to do with the basis of the story. But then it makes me wonder, like, do these kids watch this, absorb this, and grow up and write a misconnections about how they saw a girl at the grocery store and they were like, oh god, I really want to know what panties she was wearing, you know, like, and it's just gross. Like, there's something like, it's just so fucking gross. So that was my that's my filler for our misconnections.
I mean, it makes me think about one of the first animes that I ever watched that was introduced to me. By my friend who absolutely loved anime was Fruits Basket. Mm-hmm. That was the first anime that I kind of really watched. If you don't know what Fruits Basket is, really quick breakdown is that essentially there are these people who are of the zodiac. They each have like an animal, and they turn into that animal if the opposite sex kisses them or touches them. So they turn into that animal, right? And the whole basis is that at the very first episode is this schoolgirl is homeless, living in a tent in the park. And this random, like, she comes across this random fucking dude who is like their caretaker, basically. Like, he's the one that knows all about. I can't remember if I think he turns into one, but I don't remember which animal he turns into. But essentially, this like teacher guy, this head guy, fawns over her all the time. All the time. He's always talking about how cute she is. He's always talking about and for the teenager, and he's always talking about like girls this and girls that, and the cutesy like
fucking blood comes out the nose. Yeah.
And it's like when I first saw it when I was younger, I was like, okay, whatever. This is normal. Anime. This is normal. Whatever. You know, but now looking back, it's like, oh man, that's really creepy.
There's definitely it's a cultural thing for sure, and I'm not saying that it's right in any way, but like there is definitely a cultural difference with like just like Japanese culture versus American culture with that kind of stuff. It's like the same as like there's another fucking older anime that or manga too called Chobits, right?
Oh, I remember Chobits.
And like I never like sat down and watched Chobits, but I remember like a lot of people, especially girls, were really obsessed with Chobits in like early 2000s, right? Because it was very cutesy or whatever. And I remember back when digital cable first came out, like when it was like a thing, you know, like you guys remember when digital cable was like before, like, you know, like so like that was a big thing. We happened to have like this weird like anime network or whatever. They just played random anime, like, and at the time the only anime I'd ever seen was on like Toonami, you know, like it was only like fucking Dragon Ball Z and Gundam and shit like that. And I remember seeing the very first episode of Chobits with a friend of mine, and we were both very uncomfortable because the whole thing with Chobits, I don't really know the story, but basically it's like this girl robot that this boy finds. They're like high school age or whatever, right? And he's trying to figure out how to like turn on this robot. And he finds out, whoops, her switch is inside of her. And he has to fucking scoop his fingers up to turn her on.
Wait, what?
I'm dead serious. 100% serious.
I've never seen Chobits. I just know of it because I had a friend who was obsessed with it.
That's how the robot girl gets like literally like brought to life or turned on. Like her switch is like fuck. And I remember seeing this as like a fucking like I was like 16 at the time. And like
it's making some of the posts I've read on like Amber the Hassle or like whatever the weird like weeby ones were make a lot of sense.
Right?
And the thing is, like, I don't know, like, if, like, at that point, I was like, this is too fucking weird. Like, this is really fucking weird, you know? So, like, we didn't watch it, but that scene always stuck with me because of how fucking weird
you're like, bro, what am I looking at? Mm-hmm.
And so, like, again, I don't, I've heard some weird little things about, like, apparently, like, there's, like, a big thing with like specifically with Japan and like the panty obsession culture also comes from like Western culture. Like it's shit that we like kind of brought to the table after like World War II. Like there's a whole mesh of like how this culture got this way. Right. And a lot of it stems from like post World War II era, like borders open back up. And there's something like, because, you know, like it's always been a very like not promiscuous culture. So like it's been very
at least they were doing it behind. They weren't advertising it.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever not promiscuous is.
Like very modest.
Modest. There we go. Yeah, very modest. Yeah. But a lot of that like kind of switched, like after World War II, and like it's kind of fascinating to read about and learn about it. But at the same time, it's just a weird thing because like that stuff is so normalized in a lot of anime where it's like it can be again the most normal like fucking. One Piece is great. It's a fucking pirate bullshit adventure thing. But then you just have these characters that are just thrown in, and you're like, I gotta shut off my brain for this fucking character.
Right.
It's kind of like when I tell people that I lived over there for a while, that like, oh well, how often did you see panties in a vending machine? And it's like, okay, yes, they do have that. But they're literally in certain districts.
Yeah.
Like, it's not everywhere.
It's not just like on every corner like a Starbucks.
Hey, can I get that canned coffee? And, can I get fucking Tomo's fucking panties right there real quick? It's not like that at all.
It's literally, it's almost like the equivalent of like fucking when you find like a condom vending machine in a shady area here.
Yeah.
You see it like in the shadiest areas, and here's like it's like, okay, here's a condom. We think it's made of plastic. We don't know. It's in a fucking vending machine.
God. Like a bathroom condom.
But like there's something there, and it's kind of a weird fascination thing of the fact that like so Western culture influenced Eastern culture and made it had this promiscuous level to things, which therefore bled into fucking anime and manga and stuff,
and
which
then
went back and started influencing Western culture again. But the problem is, it influenced the wrong generation of Western culture.
Oh,
so like it's kind of a thing. So it's like now again, it's just a weird, fascinating thing, but also disgusting thing, and it makes a lot of sense when you see how often, especially with conventions and anime conventions and gaming conventions, how often the weird weeby kids can often cross over with the weird creepy kids because they don't have that fucking social ineptness.
Right.
And then they go home and they write about fucking...
And they just see it in the media that they
saw you cosplaying at Comic-Con. You were the girl at Comic-Con. If you were a girl at Comic-Con and I was the boy, what color shirt was I wearing? Marry me.
Like, how many Deadpools were around me?
Yeah. I was the one wearing the Spider-Man costume.
Oh God, not the Spider-Man costume. You were in a Harley Quinn costume.
You were dressed up as 2B from Nier Automata.
Oh no!
I about fell off the stool just now.
You idiot!
I would have fucking died if you did.
Remember when I fell off the stool?
Yeah,
and
twice?
You yelled at me.
You fell off twice.
I didn't fall off twice.
You did. You fell off twice. In a row. So we hopefully with our tangent there about Japanese culture and misconnections and weird people, we filled your void of Sam not having a misconnection.
Okay, but I still do like anime.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Okay.
We're not villainous against fucking anime.
Yeah, no,
we like anime.
I mean, I still like anime, and that's
I'm different. Like, I don't really watch anime. I'm indifferent. I don't really care.
There's still plenty of anime I like, and like I said, I still like One Piece. I literally have to turn off my fucking brain when I see this character.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's not the fucking main character, but it's whatever. It's just one of those things that like you see it and you go, but like there's also just to clarify, there is plenty of anime that doesn't have any of this bullshit in it.
Yeah.
Like plenty.
I was gonna say like I'm very, very particular about the anime that I watch. I haven't watched anime in a very, very long time. I legit have to be in a certain mood to be like, okay, I really want to watch some anime. But I've never watched anything that was like, if it literally involves like high school, I'm like automatically out. Like I don't want to watch anything that has to do with high school age kids. Like I'm done. Like I'm over it.
Luckily, you're never like the weird thing about this kind of stuff is too, you see it more in the anime that is more directed towards like the 14 group, like age group. So like if you see shit like not saying like fucking Attack on Titan is fucking like pinnacle of anime or anything, but you're not gonna see like fucking a weird horny character in this fucking anime where people are getting eaten alive by giant titans. It just doesn't exist. But there are there's plenty of anime that this just doesn't exist in. It's the weirder it's
a lot of the cutesy.
It's either the cutesy shit or like the more like shonen stuff. Always has like the fucking weird pervert character that just exists for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
But Anyway, what relationships do you have?
Well, this one I also went into the vault to get.
Into the Disney vault.
Into the Disney vault. Me. They wrote it kind of weird because they put it in the ages. Let me see. Let me figure this out together without the ages. Me and my boyfriend of 2 years got mad at me because I took my cat to a park for the cat's birthday. Am I really a crazy cat lady? So she is 34. He is 41. They've been dating for 2 years. He got mad at her because she took her 16-year-old cat to a park for the cat's birthday. Okay. I've had my cat since he was 6 months old. He was an unadoptable rescue. That was in quotes. He had so-called unsurvivable pneumonia, and when healthy was nothing but fear aggression. I was basically cat hospice. Well, he lived. And he loved, and he's the purriest, snuggliest, sweetest cat. He is now a very chubby 16-year-old with arthritis. He's treated with Dazuquin, which has helped immensely, but he's not a kitten anymore. We used to live in a first-floor apartment where we could sit outside, and I could read, and he could be on his tie-out and watch birds, but now we don't anymore. Shortly before his 16th birthday, he slipped and or fell off the bathroom vanity. I didn't see it happen. I only saw the cat who couldn't stand without screaming afterwards.
Aww.
We rushed him to the vet, and miraculously nothing was broken, but that left the question of what did he do? He even had a bad sprain. It may always be weak, and he may never walk normally again or walk at all. If he tore a tendon or a ligament, it was basically over. Orthopedic surgeries in senior cats don't usually end well. For a week and a half, we brought him food and water. We gave him his pain meds. We set him in the litter and held him up. We lifted him onto and off of the bed. It was basically a cat nursing home up in here. Just when we thought he would never get up again, he did exactly that. Then he walked a few steps. Then it was cat PT, making him go a little further every day, getting his strength back up. He's a fucking fighter. He's like, fuck all this shit. A month later, aside from sitting over on one hip when he sits down, you would never know he had ever been hurt. For his 16th, I loaded him into the car, which he doesn't mind at all, and took him to a park by the lake. He spent a couple hours watching ducks and warming his old bones in the sun. My boyfriend was indignant. How the cat doesn't even know it's his birthday. What a waste of time. Who does that? No, he doesn't know it's his birthday, but he knows he's doing something he enjoys. He knows he feels better than he had been. He knows those things. Now it's 3 months later, and my boyfriend is still on about cat birthday outings. I don't get it. He helped care for him when he was injured and did probably more than I did because I worked 10-hour shifts. So I guess staying at home to care for an injured cat isn't crazy cat person, but taking the cat to the park is. I mean, there's whole parks devoted to dogs where dogs can see their dog friends, so what's weird about taking a cat out for one afternoon? He's really starting to make me feel like shit about it.
Are you done?
Yeah, that's just the TLDR.
Oh, yeah. You just like...
Boyfriend is acting like I murdered his family. The TLDR, senior cat was seriously injured. He recovered, and I took him to the park to celebrate his 16th birthday. Boyfriend is acting like I murdered his family over it. Am I crazy?
So, we can't hear you.
You're mute.
You're mute. Somehow.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why he's acting like that. It's weird. Like, don't you want to do things for your pet? Like, that's why you have them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to like treat them as best as you can.
If you get like, again, I think we've said this before, but if you're getting a fucking pet, it's a commitment. Like, that's a fucking life commitment. You gotta like, you take care of them. We got fucking two wandering around right here that we complain about all the time.
We got senior doggies. Hi. She's like, you talking about me?
But like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's awesome. Like, take a cat to the park, especially if they're old and they just because it's
It's not like she's literally walking it around the park. She took it to the lake so he could sit down.
Yeah.
And like look at stuff.
So, I have a cat story.
Of course you do.
Of course you do.
And it's simple. It's similar. It's similar to this, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you write this post?
No.
Is that your cat story?
4 years ago?
Well, this was actually before this. This was probably in, let's say, 2008, probably around that time, 2007, 2008. This was back. I had a cat. I had a big old white cat named Gulliver, and he was white, but he had like an orange tail. It was awesome. And at the time, I had a Shiba Inu as well. So I was walking my cat out, and I was walking my dog outside. It was a June or July. It was very, very hot, and this was in Ohio. And while I was walking the dog, I walked back behind the apartments. I saw this little black kitten, and I'm kind of like being a little wary, thinking like, it's an apartment complex. You see cats, whatever. But it's just laying in the grass, and it saw us, but it didn't move. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And we walked right by it, and it just kind of looked at us and didn't move. And the dog was like, hey, what's going on? But I noticed that next to it was like a piece of bread and like a lid, like filled with like a little bit of like liquid in it. So I was like, okay. So I went and took the dog inside, and I came back out to look at the cat. And I'm looking at it, and I go up and I go right up to it. It doesn't move. Like it doesn't like get up, like it looks at me and it's meowing a little bit, but it's definitely a kitten. Like it's very small. And I pet it, and it kind of just like it just kind of whatever, it just kind of meows, but it won't stand up. So like it has, I saw in its fur, it had a little bit of like cat litter in its fur, like almost like.
Okay, so it was someone's pet. It was living in a house.
Pet or something.
Okay.
And I tried to stand it up, and it just fell back over. And this was it's in the sun in July. It's not even in the shade. So like it's hot as fuck. So I'm like,
so it couldn't like crawl or anything?
It couldn't move.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I can't, what do I do? I can't leave this animal outside. I found this, and now it's my responsibility immediately, like you can't, what do you do? Like it's an animal. You can't just leave it. Even if it was a fucking honestly, even if it was a squirrel, I would have probably called somebody because I can't leave this animal to literally just fucking die here. I walk this path every day. I'm going to see it. So I kind of scoop it up, and I take it home for a minute, and I'm looking at it, and so somebody definitely like abandoned it here because there's that little piece of bread and like a little lid or something, and I go ahead and I wrap it up in a little towel, and I just drive to the vet, and I'm like, hey, this isn't my cat. I don't know what to do with it. I can't keep this, but can you at least look at it and see what's going on, and they got me in right then and there, and they checked it out, and they actually didn't even charge me, which is, cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing the things that vets will do when you tell them it's not your pet. But anyway,
right?
Like treat the patient.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because the doctor's feeling, and like whenever like he's feeling down the spine, and whenever like you touch a certain spot, the cat kind of stiffened up, right? And he said like he's not sure what was going on, but that he could give it he could give it a shot of like
steroids,
like either a steroid or like kind of a muscle relaxer, and kind of see. And he says like basically your options are he can either put it down now, or there's a chance that if you want to try to see if it can recover, there's a chance it could recover. I'm like, fuck, you can't tell me that shit because you told me there's a
you
chance.
can't put like the choice in your hands like that.
Yeah. So like I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna I'm gonna see about this for a little bit, So I have at the time I had a cage, like just a big old crate from when I had the Shiba that I wasn't using anymore. So I set the crate up in the closet, and I put it in there. And I would put like food and water and like a little litter box in there. And I had to keep it away from my cat too, because I didn't even know if this cat had like worms or anything either. So I had to keep all the animals separate. I had to get a baby gate to prevent it from like getting out
baby
too.
Which, the baby gate.
My other cat could just jump. It's a fucking baby gate, it just jumps over it. But the dog couldn't get past it. So so I'm literally in the same kind of thing, like nurturing this cat, and like I go to bed and I wake up and I see that it tried to use the litter box. There's like, now it tried, but it also can't really move. I don't know. I didn't see it do it, right? So I'm like, oh, there's a little bit of progress. And I could get it to eat and I could get it to drink, and I'm getting like some soft food. And over the course of a few days, it slowly starts standing up, like very, and so I would let it out. and like it would try to walk, and it walked like spaghetti. Like it was like very wobbly legged, and then it would like fall back over, you know. And like I kind of like put it up against like my dresser, and it would kind of lean against the dresser and kind of try to walk, you know. And over the course of like about a week or so, it got its energy back. It started like learning. It literally got to the point where it could run, and it was. So this cat was so fucking cute. I ended up naming it Latte.
That's a good name.
And it was the cutest cat because like it never got to a point where it didn't walk like spaghetti, but it walked as gracefully as it could.
God.
So like and the weird thing is if you pet the cat, it would like there was a certain spot you could hit where it would kind of stiffen up and fall back over. I don't know what it was, if it was nerve damage or what. So I just learned don't pet it in a certain spot, but it'd be fine. But if you sat down on the ground and like you crossed your legs, it would every single time, no matter who you were, it would run across the floor and curl up and sit in your lap. Aww. Every single person it did this to. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep it because like I already had like a cat and a dog.
Cats?
Yeah, well no, this is just me. I had a cat and I had a dog. But like it was the thing is like that my apartment that I ended up moving into, one had stairs, like it is a two-story apartment. I was worried about that, but eventually the cat managed to get through the baby gate. I just watched it squeeze through it, and then it would come down the stairs and just hang out in the living room. So it got to the point where like it could get around the house fine.
Yeah.
But like I literally just couldn't keep it because I just couldn't keep 3 animals by myself. And I made some little videos, and I actually managed like I worked with like PetSmart, and they had like an adoption thing for special needs cats. And then so somebody up like Northern Ohio adopted it, like knowing
that's nice. It was a good ending to the story.
Yeah, like because like I worked with PetSmart, and they reached out to like special needs, like people who'd only adopt special needs animals, you know, like because it was a great cat. And I would have loved to have kept her. She was so fucking cute. And I just think it's one of those things, like if you give these animals like a chance, a lot of the times they can recover from like what I mean, this cat couldn't fucking move, you know, but like they gave it a little shot, they gave it like and over the time it figured out a way to move on its own, and it walked like a fucking snake, you know, like it kind of, and it started running, it would play, it would fetch, it was great.
You really are the worst person to tell about like special needs, or not necessarily special needs animals, but like any animals in distress, because that's how you ended up with Midna.
Yeah.
Really?
So at the time, we had another dog that had separation anxiety, and we thought that maybe getting a buddy for it would help, because he grew up having another dog, but then like after moving to Florida, it was just him, and the separation anxiety really started coming out. So like, okay, he needs another dog. So I was looking around for one, and then found there was a girl at my apartment complex who worked with animal shelters, and she's like, she would show me pictures of one, and she showed me a picture of Midna. And she was brought in off the streets. She was pregnant at the time, and they gave her 2 days. She gave birth to puppies, but she was so sickly that she couldn't even produce milk. So like they had to give the puppies to another dog to nurse them, and they were just gonna kill her immediately. They literally gave her no time at all. They gave her 2 days, and they were gonna kill Midna. So I called and I was like, I'll take her. I was like.
What?
So that's how I ended up with Midna, is because like they literally gave her.
What happened to her puppies?
Was that?
What happened to her puppies?
The puppies are fine. They gave the puppies to another nursing dog at the shelter, and so they could get them healthy, and then they sent them off. But like with Midna, because they'll kill the fucking mom over killing puppies.
Right.
So yeah, they literally gave her 2 days before they were gonna like put her down.
Wow.
After picking her off the streets. And so yeah, that's how I ended up with her. So yeah, I don't know, man, like I would rather just like give an animal a chance, as opposed to, like if they're fucking
right.
There's so many like dogs and cats that like don't have like it, like we talked about this the other day, like like the people who like adopt like the service like the police dogs and stuff, who like after they're done with their work, it's either they just get put down or they have to get adopted. But like they don't.
And greyhounds too.
The greyhounds.
The gracing greyhounds too. Like there's a lot of dogs that like they just they get a couple of years out of use basically, and then they just put them down unless someone like adopts them and gives them like a fucking normal ass home where they're not just like.
I've always wanted to adopt like some type of like either a racing, like a former racing greyhound, or like a police dog or a military dog.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, like I think it's good to give these dogs or cats like another chance, really. It's like, 'cause they don't they
literally almost every pet that I've ever had was abandoned. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I think almost every one of them. Like, first, every single cat I've ever had, has been a stray. I've never bought a cat.
No one ever goes out looking for a cat. Cats find you.
Yeah. Like,
cats find you. That is correct.
Cats find you.
They really do. Like, every single cat I've ever had has been a stray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And for...
I once had a dog. I had a dog show up with a cat that had kittens.
Wow.
It was underneath my brother's
like some homeward bound shit.
Yeah, right?
No, this is what happened. We were my brother and I were gonna go on vacation. That morning that we were gonna leave, we woke up and there was literally a very small dog that we never found out what the fuck it was. Very small dog, a mama cat, and kittens underneath his fucking Camaro. We literally had to open up like the engine and everything and dig them out because like there were kittens in the wheel well and kittens in the fucking engine, and we had to make sure that like the whole time we were driving, because we eventually did leave, the whole time we were driving I was like, please God, don't let me hear anything.
It's the worst because literally like mama cats will go into the worst spot to give birth to kittens.
Yeah. And these were just born. These were literally, this was literally I don't know what to do with any of this, so they just dropped it off.
Yeah.
And the dog was that dog was very protective of those kittens, very protective of the mama cat.
So you cute. Oh my God.
You could tell that these weren't
together.
Just strays. These were, this was like a pet.
A unit.
This was a unit.
No, they were a family, okay?
They were a family.
Yeah.
And we ended up finally finding homes for most of the kittens. The only kitten we didn't find a home for was I went to go meet the lady and she never showed up. And so we ended up with my cat Zoe. So we had a mama cat, we had Zoe, and then we had the dog that my mom took that was like her dog forever.
I feel like that also always happens whenever you try to adopt out a bunch of them. You always end up with one of them.
end up with one.
Like,
yeah.
There's always I honestly, my whole thing is I probably get this shit from my parents because like I remember both my parents. Like I mean, my parents are divorced, but like on both sides, they're both very animal centric.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not like fucking crazy, but like if they see an animal, they're gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
They're gonna like
if you can help.
I definitely get it from my mother.
Like I mean, my dad. Like I remember when I was real young, my dad literally hit a rabbit's nest with a lawnmower, and so he gathered up all the bunnies, and he literally used my sister's like junior science kit to like give them milk because they were so young. They didn't have like their eyes were so closed. So my dad literally like is fucking feeding them like with an eye drop. You know, like my mom has like. There was a big windstorm that came through and blew out a fucking nest of squirrels. My mom kept one of the squirrels and then got it to the point where she could send it. You know, like it's just like one of those things. Like both my parents have been like that. If they see animals in distress, they'll take care of them and then do whatever the fuck they need to with them. But like,
yeah, my mom's definitely the crazy cat lady. I mean, growing up, we had so many cats, but you know, I grew up in the middle of nowhere in you know the woods, and that is literally, I grew up where people would go to dump their animals. And that's how we ended up with so many, is that because, you know, there's a lot of military people around. There's a lot of people who are moving. There's a lot of people who are just terrible.
So they're moving. Okay,
they're moving. They don't want to take their fucking animals with them. So they dump them in the woods. That's how I got Koji.
Really?
I'm not lying. That's how I got Koji.
I can't imagine that. I've only ever given up. I mentioned my cat Gulliver. I did give him up, but I had him for a long time. But the only reason I gave him up was because we had another cat at the time that refused to use the litter box. They were both male cats. So because he stopped using the litter box, Gulliver stopped using the litter box, and it became a thing that you can't train that out of a cat, especially because like it's like. Especially with male cats, once they go, I'm marking this is mine, another cat goes, no, it's mine, it becomes a fucking back and forth. But I gave them up to a person who literally had a fucking outdoor cat sanctuary.
Yeah.
So it was like a thing where it's like,
Be wherever you want.
yeah, it was literally like it was an outdoor-indoor thing. He basically converted his garage into like an indoor space, but they had a little cat doggy door thing that you go into their backyard, and he had like a really, really, really high stone wall behind it. So it's like, okay, like you have to do your fucking research, before you just give your animals away. But like at the same time, like dumping an animal, is never gonna work. Like they're not wild animals, Like a cat can maybe survive in the wild. A fucking dog, though, like you can't just go dump a husky out. Like they don't have survival instincts. Like they're not like If you see Koji,
and he definitely didn't.
This dog has no he just fucking stares at you from across the room like, when you feed me, like I don't know what to do. Like hurry up.
That dog was not gonna last very long. That dog brought home a dead chicken and buried it underneath some leaves the first time I saw him. Oh. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Here's a gift.
He's caring.
Here's a gift. It's me.
So, we went into a lot of tangents over this one story. That being said, this boyfriend's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with giving a cat, like an older cat that especially that you've nursed back to life, a fucking day at the park,
Right.
Like,
yeah.
and it's...
She wasn't literally hurting anybody. She took her cat to the park so that he could fucking sit in the sun and watch some birds and literally hurt nobody. It's not like she's not the crazy cat lady who takes the cat on a leash every fucking day.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, calm down.
Like, if I see you walking a cat on a leash, I'll probably make fun of you. But at the same time, if it's not hurting anybody, I also don't give a shit.
Good for you.
Yeah. Like, but you still look funny, so I'm gonna make fun of you a little bit. But like,
yeah, I feel that.
It's not her. And for this dude to harp on it, she said 3 months later. Like, can you imagine like just being like, I still can't believe you did that. That
3 months later.
Did what?
I still can't believe you're still talking about this.
Right? Yeah. Like, it's ha. So no, this dude's fucking stupid. And you're 41, dude. Like.
At that point, I'd be like, look, are you really going to do this for the rest of your life? Because you only got a couple more years left, so just chill the fuck out.
Right. Dude. Is this the only thing that's ever happened to you? Is this the only story you have?
Man. That's... I don't know. Like that, but I see nothing wrong with doing good things for animals. I like taking animals on little adventures.
Yeah.
They fuck, dude. Like they're just like us. They need stimulation. They need mental stimulation. They need to see new shit too. Like cats, they're great indoors, but like you will not find a cat that also
doesn't want to be outside.
Want to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like whether or not.
No, my cat Max didn't. As soon as I brought him in he was a very, very tiny kitten. From that day, that was the last time I saw him outside. He did not want to go.
He said, I'm rich now.
He said, right? He said, I'll look out the window and I'll chirp at these birds, but that's about it. Like, I'm not doing this whole outside thing.
They're so fucking weird because like some of them I've seen cats they'll literally only come home to eat. It's always like they literally they go off and they're like. And it's usually like it'll always be like if you have a fucking cat, especially if it's a male, like you have like a non-neutered male cat and it's an outdoor-indoor cat, that cat is gonna go repopulate the neighborhood and then it's gonna come eat. And then it's gonna go repopulate the neighborhood and then it's gonna eat. We
had a cat that would literally only come in to eat and sleep, and then at like 5 o'clock in the morning scream to be let out. Okay, here you go. Well, have a good day at work, I guess. Bye.
Go have fun repopulating.
Well, with that being said, I think that our audience here deserve or owes us pictures of their pets. So I think you guys should totally tweet us about that. Yeah. You owe us pet tags. So if you have adorable pets or, really good pet stories, send them to us because, like, seriously, we love these animals. So we want to hear about your cuties. So tweet that at us.
Well,
absolutely. I agree.
Hopefully,
what's our handle?
ESH Podcast on Twitter, or hit us up on email at contact@everyonesuckshere.com. Hopefully this is a little bit more, is a lighthearted episode, more feel goods, and hopefully this coming Wednesday will also be the same. Last week was angry. This week gonna be a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more funny and whatever the fuck.
Silly.
Anything besides fucking, rage inducing. So we got all that out last week. Not saying we won't ever go back to that, but here we are. We can't promise nothing.
Here we are.
All right, guys, we will catch you next or this coming Wednesday. For more stories.
Full-length episode.
And a full-length episode. Yeah. All right, goodbye.
Bye.